So I wanted to share some of my thoughts on the current state of the manosphere and just the dating space as it is. And I felt very compelled to share some of these thoughts with you guys because I'm guessing some of you are in the same boat as me. So I'm 25 years old and I first started learning about the manosphere and the red pill when I was like 18 or 19. And I did because of my brother Casey. I'm guessing if you're watching this, you know who my brother Casey ZANDER is. He was the one that first kind of introduced me into the space. And what I'm starting to realize, like I've really started to think very deeply about this over the last like 6 months to a year, was that I think the manosphere and the red pill was a lifeline that was thrown to guys because they were looking for a way to navigate the dating market as it was getting way harder to do. And the reason it was getting so much harder was because of smartphones, social media, dating apps, basically all of these things that put you into constant communication with people. Because the world didn't used to be like that. You know, you used to have either a home phone or a pager, and like when it came to talking to women, you either saw them in person or you maybe talked to them on the phone. You didn't constantly have this little thing in your pocket at your fingertips all day that you could just sit and text on. So I think the red pill and the manosphere definitely has, it filled a space that guys were struggling with at the time. But after a lot of thought and seeing some of the issues I've had in my own dating life, I've realized that it's only half of the truth of what dating actually is and what you have to understand and learn in order to have a successful dating life. So what I started to realize was that when I was younger, I was actually more charismatic. It was easier for me to talk to women. I got along with them easier. I was more free flowing. I could vibe with them easier. And even with men too in some ways. One issue that I've seen with the manosphere is that I think in some ways it actually stunts some of your boyish creativity that you have. And like that just overall ability to just think and speak freely that a lot of guys had when you know you were pretty young. And I think the reason that it did this is because it drills into you so hard that you need to be a stoic man who is on his purpose. And those are both really great things. Being on your purpose will get you money. It'll bring you fulfillment in life. It'll keep you driving and moving towards something. But on the front end, when it comes to just like initially talking to women, it really doesn't matter. So what I've realized when I say that the red pill and the manosphere has only gotten half of it right was that all of the things that the red pill talks about, you know, they talk about looks, money, and status. As long as you have those things, the women will flock to you. As long as you're on your purpose, as long as you're a stoic man, as long as you're alpha, the women will just flock to you. You won't even have to work for it. And I've realized that that's not true at all. The red pill works really well when it comes to retention of women on the back end. But when it comes to talking to women initially, whether it be the very first interaction that you have with them, you know, whether you meet them in a bar or at a library, at a grocery store, you know, whatever, or even if you use a dating app or whatever, that very first interaction that you have with them, they don't see any of that. They don't know that you're a stoic man who's on his purpose. What they see is what you put in front of them and the words that you speak to them, and they go based on how those words make them feel. And so what I personally noticed is that the red pill actually stunted a lot of my creativity and my ability to free flow with women. And the reason that I've noticed this is I've had inconsistent results in my dating life that I've only really started to piece together over the last like 6 months or so. And along with that too, I've seen it through social media. So what I mean by that is when you go on social media, the guys that are with the prettiest women, a lot of times they don't look like me. They don't look gruff. They don't weigh 220 pounds. They're the guys that look a little bit more boyish. They're like 170 pounds. They kind of have that surfer vibe. And if you hear them talk, they have more of like that charismatic, and some guys, especially in the Manosphere, would call them beta. But they have more of like that just free-flowing like energy. And that's the part that a lot of guys are missing from the Manosphere. What guys don't realize is you can't just be stoic and alpha. You have to have both in order to have a successful dating life. Now, those guys you see on social media that have more of the surfer vibe, what you'll see is that they go through girlfriend after girlfriend because they get dumped over and over and over because they don't have the back end of dating. They don't know how to be stoic. And they're not like super driven dudes who are on their purpose a lot of times. They like to have fun and vibe and party. And that's really good when it comes to initially attracting the girl. But when it comes to retaining her on the back end of it, you'll see that these guys, usually between 6 months and a year, they end up getting dumped. On the opposite end though, the guys that fell really deep into the red pill and really leaned into it, those guys have very inconsistent results up front in dating, and they don't have a consistent path to actually bringing women into their life in the first place. So they'll have women that do come into it, and usually if they can get past those first few months of seeing the girl, they can retain them. But those first few months are always super inconsistent, and girls fall off constantly because guys don't know how to properly speak to women in the first place in order to actually get them to the point that they can retain them. So the biggest thing that I've realized is that guys just overall, they have all of the back end correct in order to have a not only successful dating life, but just a successful life in general. It's super cool to see how many guys are like super driven and motivated now and on their purpose and chasing success. And they want to have a better life. But there's also a ton of guys that are getting constantly left by women, and they're having girls fall off all the time, and they can't even get to the point of like being able to retain the girl because they're still missing the front end of it. And it's because of that, in my opinion, that creativity that the red pill took out of some of us, because the red pill told us for years and years and years, you need to be a stoic man who's just chasing success and on his purpose. And that's great and all, but it's only half of the battle.